Hi everyone, welcome to Sunya IAS. In this class, we are starting the new part of our Medieval Indian History series. As you know, we are starting the new part today, and this is something new. Why? Because we are seeing the transition and we will be starting the Medieval India. Okay, so I hope you guys are ready, and if you have any doubts from the ancient history, please let me know, and do watch the playlist if you have missed any of the class from the ancient history lecture series. And basically this is our lecture number 16, but for medieval India this is the first lecture, okay, because we are starting medieval India today. But before this 15 lecture we have covered for ancient history only. Okay, so now what we are doing is we need to understand how early medieval India starts. And when we do early medieval India, we need to see two parts separately, North India and South India, because we had many kingdoms in South India. We had imperial Cholas, Chalukyas, Rashtrakutas. Then later they got replaced by Bahmani kingdom and Vijayanagar empire. So that is a different sequence which we will cover. And in North India you will see a different way of attacks and invasions. So that's also important. Okay, so we'll see how the position of India was there in the world and what kind of transitions were there. Okay, so I can see there are no doubts, and please like the video, guys. Please like, send me a good comment that it's working fine from your side. Yes, good evening everyone. I can see many new students have joined us. Welcome you guys, and for old students, more welcome. Okay, so right, okay. Give me a moment. Fine. So first of all, guys, we see the transformation of ancient phase. Why there is a transformation now? Because see, we had to follow a good understanding of society also, because so many invaders came in India during the ancient times also. So some kind of implications were always there. So if we talk about the social crisis and the agrarian changes, it happened during the transitional period. So the central factor for the transformation of the ancient Indian society into medieval Indian society was the practice of land grants. Do you remember Brahmadev, Devadhan, feudalism? We have covered all these points, right? So a lot of land grants were given to Brahmins, to universities, to different institutions. Now those land grants came under control of different regional people. Okay, and they became very powerful in their own regional areas. So they started maintaining their own regionalism, due to which regionalism will become more important than nationalism in India. They will be doing their own region specific, cultural specific things. They'll follow their own ways of festivals, clothing, food, and different habits. Okay, like if you go in any state of India, in that particular state also you'll find different kind of regional variations. Why it happened? Because different leaders came up. That's why. As you remember, we had a Varna society which had a fourfold division, right? And they were divided according to their producing activities, or you can say duties. Okay, Varna was based on duties. So they had to follow certain duties as per their birth, like in which family they are born, they'll do the things accordingly. Fine. Now peasants were called Vaishyas now. Do you remember that initially when we had Vaishya community, they only did traders, they were only traders and commerce, right? They only used to do the trading activities or commercial activities. They also used to form the guilds. But right now, you'll see that many of the people from the Vaishya community also started involving in the production activities. Why? Because land became a very great source of income. And when you are when you are having those agricultural lands in your control, it doesn't mean that you are just a peasant or a landless farmer. You may be a big zamindar, or you can have a lot of control in your region. Okay, then you can purchase those crops and sell it off in the market, and then the surplus production will come accordingly. That market produce, that cash crop economy will grow. So these kind of things came up. Now Vaishyas also started doing some production activity. So peasants, now they were called Vaishyas sometimes. And we had laborers also, who were Shudras, of course. Some of the Shudras also used to practice agriculture, because see, there is always a mixture according to the regional variations. The mixtures are always evident. Now, tax collection from the Vaishyas enabled the king to pay salaries to the officials and to pay regular salaries to the army also. So he started keeping a big army now. We have so many Puranic texts, they complain of a situation in which Varnas or the social class discarded the functions assigned to them. Means what? Like, as per the Varna system, we had Brahmins who had only teaching, preaching activities with them, who had to do the religious jobs. But now we saw that so many Brahmins came who started ruling. But Kshatriyas were ruling class. But now you see, a kind of a mixture was there. If you remember, so many Brahman rulers came. Like if you remember Gautami Putra Satkarni, he used to call himself the only Brahman. But they were not Brahmins. It is said that they came up from a tribal group. So many Brahmins came who started ruling. Even if we talk about Marathas now, Marathas will be coming in the medieval part. They are also Brahmins, not the Maratha ruler, but the Peshwas who used to serve under Marathas, they were Brahmins. But later you'll see that Peshwa will rise to power and they will have a lot of authority. So now the part which was assigned to them according to the Varna system was not really followed very, very strictly. They started some kind of intermixing, you will see. And if you talk about the leaders of Jainism and Buddhism and so many Tirthankars, they came from Kshatriya community. When Kshatriyas had no responsibility of religion, teaching or preaching, they only used to do the ruling. They were the ruling class. But look at the Nalanda University. It was a complete Buddhist monastery, Buddhist university where so many monks used to be there. So this kind of intermixing got started, and this is a great transition in the society which we see during the medieval India. Okay. Now, several measures were adopted to overcome the crisis. What is the crisis here? The crisis is that people are not following Varna system very strictly. Okay. So now the crisis is there because society will be having this intermixing. No cultural traditional values will be there. So many religious leaders were afraid of it. They saw that this is very problematic. It is a critical time. So we should do something to improve this particular thing, and we should have some kind of fear in the mind of public. So to increase that fear, they started taking few steps. The almost contemporary law book of that time, which is Manusmriti, it advises that the Vaishyas and Shudras should not be allowed to deviate from their duties. See, they are not talking about Brahmins. They are not talking about Kshatriyas and their duties. It's always said that rules and laws are for the poor people, right? Again, we can see it. Even Manusmriti. Who wrote Manusmriti? Of course, Shudras never wrote it, or they had no contribution in writing the Manusmriti. I hope you can agree on this. Okay, do you think that if Manusmriti would have been written by a Shudra, it would have been followed with such a high level of strictness in the society? Of course not. It was always written by the Brahmins and those big leaders, powerful people. So they will never mention about their own community. They will put the burden of society on the weaker hands or on the weaker shoulders. Like today we see who is bearing the burden of cultural values or to uphold the tradition in the society today. Which section of the society, or which particular, not the community I'll say, but the section of the society. What do you think? It is always who are poor, poorest of poor, or weaker or marginalized people in the society. They will only have this burden on their shoulder to pay the taxes on time, to fulfill all the duties, to follow the tradition, okay, to make everyone happy and to follow the cultures nicely, to be very strict with all the customs. Like today, we have these responsibilities on our women's shoulder, right? Women in society is considered as an ideal woman with having all the responsibilities maintained like a superwoman, and she will never break the rules. Okay, why? Because see, for weaker people, it is very easy for us to order them and ask them to do something. And I told you how we made them weak. We made them weak by taking away their educational rights. their economic rights, political rights, and religious rights. Then we started legitimizing their inferior position by writing epics, dramas, books, literature, where everywhere these section of society coming from Shudras, those artisans, these laborers, these women, they were always having a lower standard. They always had to listen to others. They always had to follow the orders. So this kind of mindset became very inbuilt in their genes. Even genetically, it is like that. Even you will see that it's very hard for women to believe that before being any other person, or in having any other relation, she is an individual first. She have to put herself on first priority. She has to do it. She will never have this mindset. I know, I understand that things are getting changed, but I told you that we are reading general studies, right? We are not being critical of society right now. So we need to understand everything from a general perspective. And when we see GS, we see the India as a larger scale, where we include the rural society also, where we will include the poor society also, where you will see people coming from very very poor sections also, who are illiterate, who are uneducated. So their problems and their lifestyle also needs to be considered. Okay, we can't talk only about those women who are working in corporate life and earning and being independent, or if they are a single parent or having raising their kids alone, or if they are very rebellious in the society. They are exceptional right now. Okay, and this development is very very new in the society right now. Okay, but when we talk about society in general, and if we compare it from the ages, then we will understand that generally these kind of burden will always be there on the weaker shoulders or the marginalized sections of the society. So here also same thing happened. Ultimately what will be there, the land grants, if you remember, those granted lands, they were given to the Brahmins to legitimize their position. Of course, kings used to do it. So the lands to the priests and the officials were given in lieu of their salaries and remunerations. I told you why it happened, because king was not able to pay the regular salary on monthly intervals every time. It was very hard to maintain those accounts, and so many workloads were there. So king, instead of giving regular salaries, he used to assign a piece of land to the officer, that you will take care of this particular part, earn the income from the production, keep some part with you, maintain this area also, and give me some share of your profit. Okay, so it used to be there. Later it will be developed as a mansabdari system, jagirdari system, and we will see many other names attached to this system will be coming in the medieval times in India. So land grants became very frequent from the 5th century AD, which gave rise to the landlordism or zamindari system. Okay, so many landlords came now, everybody having a good portion of land now. People became very very important. And see, if let's say if you are having a good piece of land with you, okay, even if it is a small village, understand it with the present situation. Try to see your mindset now. Won't you feel like a king now? Won't you feel like this piece of land is mine completely? Like, this piece on earth belongs to me. I can do whatever I want on this land. Nobody can stop me. Nobody can enter this area without my permission. So you'll be having a lot of rights on that particular land. You'll have a feeling like king, right? So this landlordism will start regionalism in India. Okay? Try to understand and connect this point. This is an analysis which comes after a lot of reading. Okay, so you can even write it down, that the increase in landlordism started strict regionalism in India, ultimately due to which we faced a very weak centralization. Full stop. Okay, so according to this, the Brahmins were granted villages free from the taxes. Now see, king will lack the taxes now. This is a kind of economic problem also. It's like in vacuum which is being created by the king himself, that he'll be giving the land and he will not take the tax. He is not collecting the tax because it's a free land. So now as the village area which is under the control of that priest or temple or university like Nalanda University, they will keep all their productions, wealth and their resources under their own control. Okay. There are few new students who don't understand that what exactly we are doing. I'll tell you. See, we are starting medieval Indian history today. Okay. The topic is the transition. Okay. Transition means what? The changes which came from ancient India to medieval India. Right now we are discussing the society, like what kind of changes came up in the society. Fine. So we will discuss the society, then we'll see economic changes, and then we'll see the political changes, new rulers, new invaders, new fights, battles, and the development of medieval India. So right now today we are creating a base so that you get good content for your mains answer writing. This class is very important for mains. You'll get a lot of good content, new content for the mains answer writing, because your answer needs to be very unique and it should be different from others. So to keep it different from others, you can have a lot of new formulas which will be beneficial for you. Now come back to the topic. So all the taxes which were collected by the king from the villages were transferred to the Brahmins. Ultimately somehow, Brahmins became very, very rich and important in the society. Now beneficiaries were given the right to govern the people living in the donated villages. So Brahmins who will have their land area, they will be like a ruler, they will govern the people. So can you understand the power of governance or running the government is coming in the hand of a priest indirectly. Okay, so it's like again the crisis which is not following the Varna systems at all in the society. In later times, these beneficiaries means what? Who are beneficiaries here? Can you tell me? I have already given you the PDFs. Why do you guys ask for PDFs in every class? How is it possible that every time I explain you that I have already uploaded the PDFs on Telegram? Those of you who are new, just click on the description box. There is a link. You can fill the form, and then after the class, please do it after the class. I don't want to lose my audience right now. Just go after the class to the description box, click on the link which is there, and there is a form also which you can fill to get all the study materials for free. You can even discuss your doubts with me directly. You can talk to your classmates, you can get your answers analyzed. We'll give you mains answer writing questions regularly, and I check it myself. So I'll be doing it for you. You can join us on Telegram or simply search on Telegram NCERT by Sunya IAS or NCERT Sunya IAS. Okay, search it, you will get that Telegram channel and the group also. Fine. Now let's come back to the topic. And if you have any other problems, I'll give all the solutions. Don't worry. In the end of the class, we will discuss it. Okay, I'll talk to you and all your concerns will be addressed. So beneficiaries are Brahmins. Okay, most of the time they were priests, and sometimes universities leaders or the preachers from the universities also became beneficiaries. Beneficiaries means those who got the land grants from the king. Okay. Yes, we faced a very weak centralization. So when we will face a lot of decentralized economy or a society where so many separate units are there, then in that particular society, invaders will be easily coming, because invaders will know that people here are not united. So it's very easy to defeat them collectively and then rule on them collectively. So you will see the invaders, especially the Islamic invaders, they knew this weakness of India. And do you know how they come to know about this? How they understood this weakness? Because see, in your house, if you're living inside your home and if you guys are around 6 family members and you have fight among your own family members, you guys are fighting, you have always quarrels and issues, but nobody will know this if they will not enter to your house. If you will not expose this weakness, they will never understand, right? So how this weakness got exposed? What do you think? I know this is a difficult question, but you can try. Give me the answer in the comment box if you understand. Meanwhile, I am explaining you more, maybe then you will get to understand the answer. So in the later times, the beneficiaries were authorized to punish all criminal offenders. Okay, so can you see now these beneficiaries like priests and brahmins who got the land, initially they used to govern it, they used to govern the people, and now they also started giving punishments. Okay, like they became judge also, they are judiciary also, they are executives also, they are legislatures also, they are everything. These beneficiaries became big leaders. So in the modern period, tax was collected by the agents of the king and the law and order were maintained by the agents of the king. But in the later Gupta period, these taxes were collected by different feudal lords. And later on, so many beneficiaries who got the land started doing the same thing for the king. In the Mauryan period, the officers of the state, from the highest to the lowest, were generally paid in cash. This is a very important point. Okay. So I see that Hadika is saying when someone insider tells or invites the outsider. Yes, it happens. But you know that we had so many travelers coming in India, right? Especially Arab travelers. Okay. When Arab travelers came, we if you remember, we used to buy horses from the Arabs, right? We used to import few items. So we used to import horses also because racially they had better breed of horse. So for the army, India used to import horses from the Arabian area. And then you know that so many preachers, teachers, Buddhist Dhamma Mahamatyas, they went outside from India to spread their religion and culture. So some of the travelers, they came to India, few of the Indians went to the foreign country. This intermixing got started. So the knowledge of Indian numeracy, Indian art, Indian goods, Indian spices, and so many other, unique things about India, especially the numeracy, astrology, and the knowledge which we had. It traveled from India to Europe via these Arabian travelers, because these Arabian travelers, they became mohalle ki auntie. They started for fell out those gossips. They told everyone that, do you know, India knows this, India is having this, India is a land of gold. That in their temples, those idols are wearing the real gold jewelries, and they have so much of precious metals and precious stones with them. You must go and visit India. So many authors started writing about it, and sometimes they exaggerated. Okay, we were doing fine, we were rich, but in their books, those authors, sometimes they exaggerated it too much, that only India is having all the gold, diamonds, and everything. The entire wealth of the world is here, it is synced inside India. It somehow made those invaders so curious to know about this land, that they wanted to visit India, they wanted to stay here. One more reason is the the climatic condition of India. Let's say that if you have ever seen that, if you visit your neighbor's house or any of your friend's house, and if you feel like the environment is very nice, maybe due to a scenic beauty, maybe due to the hygienic conditions, or maybe the food prepared is always very good, so you get attracted to something, due to which you would like to visit the place again and again. It happens. Have you ever felt this? If you have experienced this, let me know. Where have you experienced it? I hope it's not a secret, but you can tell me in the comments if you have visited any of the place like this where you would like to go again and again. So why it happens? For a change or for a stability, you would like to go to the place and will stay there, or you will try to get stabilized there for a longer period of time. In India, the climatic conditions are not too harsh. Even today, you see a lot of pollution is there in India, but if you compare it with other cities of the world, you'll see that those extreme situations are still not here. Okay, in so many developed countries, they have extreme cold weathers, and the cold weathers, they are very harsh. Like, it's very hard to survive in extreme cold conditions. So the European countries and those leaders coming from the Europe and those areas of Samarkand and some areas of Siberia, which were near to the Siberia and southern Russia, they were extremely cold areas. So somehow those people wanted to migrate from that place. It was a push factor for them to leave that area and search a new land. Second reason is for your animals, for all your animal, for to perform the animal husbandry, or if the nomadic herders were there, they were also in search of good pastures, good land, fertile land. So we had good pastures here. Animals could survive very easily in India. We had good rivers resources with us, so a lot of rivers, so many tributaries, so good fertile land. So agriculture was also possible in India. Animal husbandry was also possible in India. If you just wanted to live and trade, that was also possible in India, because we were having very positive balance of trade. We were exporting a lot. So many craftsmen and artisans got the jobs, and they were working very nice, and they were having a good lifestyle. And then like primary, secondary, tertiary, all the kinds of activities were going on in India. Apart from this, the overall weather conditions, the climatic conditions were nice in India. Even if you go to the coldest area of our country, I'm not talking about the regions like Siachen and the glacier areas. I'm talking about the mountain areas. Even if you go to any hilly region or any mountain area, you will still not feel very problematic as if you will lose your life. No, you may enjoy the weather. It's very good to see that particular place and enjoy it for few days, but ultimately you would like to live in a land which is a plain area. So highest population is always in a plain area. Due to these all points, people wanted to come and see India. They became very curious about it. And when they started the internal beauty of India, when they started trading, when they started traveling, they understood that in every region there is a different language, different food, different lifestyle, different clothing style. So now they grasped the point that in this area, people are not very united, and they are also very innocent, bhole bhale log hain. It's very easy to make them understand something and ask them to follow something. They are very simple and innocent people. So ultimately this this innocent image of India became very popular in the world, due to which invaders came in India, and ultimately you will know that so a lot of manpower and a lot of wealth was exploited. Fine. So now let's come back to the topic. The practice continued. Okay, this practice of paying them in the cash, and state was divided of the state from the highest to the lowest rank. They were generally paid in cash. So yes, this practice was continued under the Kushans, who were invaders, who came from the northwestern side. And can you tell me the most popular ruler of Kushans? Kushan dynasty, most popular ruler of the Kushan dynasty, who can tell me? Yeah, right. Like Sri Lakshmi is telling that in the college or in some areas you feel like this. The instability of Central Asia also make it as an alternative to move towards the east. Yes, this is a very important point, and I really appreciate that you highlighted the political instability. Sometimes, like let's say that you are living in a country where you don't know about the government, what will government do? Like, if you don't understand that government can lose the mind anytime, and they can take any decisions and they can implement any policy. So this sudden change may make you very uh, insecure, that maybe this country is not for me, maybe this area is not for me, and I should leave it. So people started leaving it. Like for America also, when you'll read the world history, after the discovery of America, so many people got settled there in search of a new life. That's why it was known as a new world. So why it became a new world for them? Many Europeans and people from Central Asia, they used to go there and settle down. Why? Because in America, when I say America, I'm talking about the area of USA. Okay, because I hope you know that USA and America sometimes are used interchangeably, because USA is a dominating country in America. So in North America, the country USA, it became a region. It became very popular initially when USA was not made. So that region became a new land, okay, after the discovery. So people started settling down there. So many criminals also, you know, sometimes those criminals, they used to go there in search of a new life. Even government also used to say that if if you don't know how to punish these people, just ask them to go and settle down in the America. They'll search their job, they'll struggle themselves, and they'll make their life. In this way, you know, that community got evolved. So that's why you'll see that the American community is very liberal, because they have seen those struggles, and ultimately they have grown as a community like that. So it happens that a new system sometimes attracts you a lot, and you feel like going to that place, exploring those ideas again and again. And the best part about India, one more point which we missed, is that acceptance. Have you seen that sometimes you visit a place or go to a house and people are not very hospitable, like they don't really welcome you nicely? Then what will you do? Next time you will not go to the same place again, if you have some self respect, of course. But if you go to a place and you are welcomed very nicely, okay, and you see very good hospitality, then you will try to visit it again. You'll get the confidence to go to the place again. In India, we were very, we were having a lot of good hospitality, and we used to have this slogan also, that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We used to have these shlokas and slogans or ideas, quotes, very popular, in which guests were treated as gods. Even today, we treat our guests like God, right? We say that guests are like God. We should give them something. If they came here, we should ask them for at least a glass of water. So we always offer them something. This is Indian culture, right? So Indian culture is very acceptable culture. If anyone will come from any part of the world, they will feel very safe and comfortable in India. Okay, I'm not talking about extreme conditions where crimes happen and where some problematic situations are there, which happens in tourist areas. Like, I don't discuss that and don't have that particular thing in mind right now. I'm talking about in general. If anybody, if any foreigner will try to come and live nearby your area, you might not fight against that particular person. Okay, people will allow. Society allows very easily. Okay, and at that time there was no concept of citizenship, nationality at all. So it was very easy for them to come here and settle down and start their own business. Okay, so from the 6th century AD, the position changed. Which position changed? The position in which this cash payment of officers and giving them the land grants, this got changed, and from the time of Harshvardhan, public officials were paid in the land revenue, and from here the landlordism got started, or it got increased. It was there, but it was at a very low level, but now it became very, very high. So we can say, and remember this, even if you want, you can write it down. This is again a small point, that after the time of Harshvardhan, from 6th century AD, public officials were paid in land revenues. Unlike cash payment in past, public officials were paid in land revenues, unlike the cash payment paid in past, which gave rise to the landlordism. Landlordism, full stop. Okay, so now these changes happened in society. I hope you understood the social transitions. Okay, so in keywords, can you tell me some social transitions which we saw from ancient to medieval India? Yes, number one, the crisis on the Varna system. Like people started following things what they liked or wanted to achieve, not following the Varna system and duties according to Varna very strictly. Okay. Second, landlordism and regionalism started growing. Okay. Third, the cash payment converted into land revenue or land assignments. Okay, so these were few changes. Now let's talk about new agrarian economy. This economy is a surplus economy, market based economy and a profit based economy. So changes were noticed. Hyun Sang describes that Shudras as agriculturalists, which suggests that they no longer cultivated land mainly as slaves. So this is a change now. Okay, from ancient to medieval India, because Hyun Sang came in the time of Harshvardhan. So he saw that initially Vaishyas also used to do the agricultural activity. Shudras were laborers, but now they are no more laborers. Shudras are also cultivating the land and not as a slave, but a agricultural, producer. So they became producers now. They were no more laborers. So some situations improved in the in Shudras, and this will improve more during the Bhakti movement, because society will get the egalitarian system, and the Bhakti preachers, new teachers, they will ask about equality. They will say that we should give liberal donations to poor people, we should help each other. So social system will evolve, and they were under control of Brahmins. Of course it was always there in the ancient time also, it used to be like that. Then decline of trade and towns happened. Okay, so basically from the time of Gupta, later Gupta period, we see this kind of decline. So from 6th century AD and onwards, we have already discussed it during the time of Harshvardhan, if you remember, that yes, trade started to decline. Trade with the western part of Roman Empire ended. Why it ended? Because Roman Empire was also declining. By the time of 7th century, it completely got disintegrated, and you will see the rise of Islam. So there was a decline in Roman Empire. So Roman wealth declined. Ultimately, the trade also declined, and in the 3rd century, and the silk trade with Iran and Byzantine also got stopped. Okay, in the middle of the 6th century, because of the decline of many powerful empires, and the decline of trade led to decay of towns. Of course, the towns will have lesser jobs, lesser economic progress. The post Gupta period witnessed the ruin of many old commercial cities in North India. So you will see we are going backward in economy with time now. We were having a great economy in ancient times. In medieval times, the decline is started. It will be more declined after the part of later medieval period. In the time of later Mughals, you will see, and ultimately we will be colonized, and then we will fight for the independence. So this is a backward system which we will be witnessing now. So the effect is that in the late 5th century, a group of silk weavers from the western coast, they migrated to Mandsaur in Pallava. Okay, and they gave up the silk weaving, and they adopted other professions, because they were not having that much of demand. So this is a good example which you can write and mention in your exams also. Please write this point. In the late 5th century, a group of silk weavers from the western coast migrated to Mandsaur in Pallava, gave up silk weaving and adopted other professions. Other professions. Okay, fine. Now, next important thing is changes in the Varna system. Of course, there were changes, but more changes came. Land grant gave rise to the new system of landlordism of landed people. So, according to Dharma Shastras, in which rule books, these are the rule books. So, Dharma Shastras, the social position of people now from here were mainly regulated by Varna system. So before this, the Varna system was there, but the people were divided into four Varnas, which we have already discussed. The economic rights of the person were also determined according to the Varna. But Brahmins, Rajputs, who appeared as an important factor in India and in the Indian polity and society around the 7th century, they became very important here to uphold the Indian culture or the Hindu kingdoms. Okay, so Varaha Mihira, he is a ruler. Okay, and he is also basically we have one ruler by Varahamira, but right now they are not discussing about ruler. They are discussing about astrologer. So he was an astrologer and an astrologer of 6th century who says that the houses were varying in sizes according to Varna. So as per their Varna, they used to make the size of house also. So it was always decided. But from the 7th century onwards, numerous castes were created and again they were divided into subcastes. So there will be many different types of professions also, and it was due to the insecurity rising in the society due to the invaders, which we have already discussed. Okay, now Puran of the 8th century states that thousands of mixed castes were produced by the connection of Vaishya women with men. Okay, Vaishya women with men of lower castes. Tribes were given status of separate caste. Okay, so I hope you understand that tribal group, they never used to follow their functions like a mainstream society. So they were considered as a separate caste, they had a separate base, and then we have also so many cultural developments. So we have some foreign accounts and Indian accounts in which Hyun Sung is very important, who mentions about several nationalities, and the Jain books of late 8th century, they notice the existence of 18 major nationalities in India. So we saw different types of communities growing. So many invaders came here and settled here. So they had their own nationality here. People like you can say not just Indian but coming from different regions settling in India and enjoying the Indian system. Vishak Datta, he is an author and he is from the time of 9th century AD. He taught about different regions inhabited by people. They had different language, clothing, customs, and everything was very different in different regions. I told you why. I hope I don't need to explain it again and again to you. Understand that what we are doing right now is is an answer for almost 3-4 questions which are already there in your exam. If you have seen the PYQs of your mains, they discuss about the transition in the economy, society, polity in the medieval India or in the starting of the early medieval India. So that base we are understanding right now, which is good content for the exam to be written in the mains. Okay, so Sanskrit literature, it got developed in 6th to 7th centuries. This Sanskrit is not that Sanskrit which was there in the ancient time. We had a Vedic Sanskrit also. If you remember, the Varnas were written in the Vedic Sanskrit. That was different. Okay, now the Sanskrit for common people, common masses, that got developed with a simpler words. So ornate style of Sanskrit prose and poetry became very, very common, where they started decorating it more. The sentences were decorated more now. Regional languages also started growing. It had more development during the Bhakti movement, because most of the Bhakti saints, they used to attract the people, and to attract the masses they started using the language of the masses. Okay, so regional languages grew. Regional scripts also became more prominent in the 7th century AD. So we can see that scripts also are, they are a medium to attract with the masses. So people will be more they will feel it more when they will read the things in their own script. So a lot of music, regional music, folk music, regional art got developed at this particular time. But from the 7th century, every region came to have its own script. Hence, one cannot read post Gupta inscriptions found in different parts of the country. Even today, so many of the things are not deciphered. Why? Because of this development of regionalism. Because I told you that regionalism became more important than nationalism. The one single language or the court language or the central language which was followed was not that important now. People became their own region specific and they had their own way of life. So unless he has the knowledge of the regional script, it was very difficult at that time to understand or to decipher the regional script. Then bhakti and tantricism also got started. I told you about tantra mantra vidya which got started now. So a lot of charms and spells came up in the society because people started to think that to impress the god quickly and easily, it's a good way to follow tantricism. So sculptures and constructions of temples increased, especially in South India. It became the land of stone temple. Bronze statue began to be manufactured now in India in more numbers, and we also noticed some religious changes in post Gupta times. Hindu divinities came to be arranged according to their grades in the hierarchy. Do you see that in gods also we have some hierarchy, like this god is very, very big, and this god is the son of this god. Then she is the daughter of this god. Then they are less god for the lesser importance. For this particular thing, you have this form of god. So why it happened? Basically, in human life, you have different energies and you have different needs as per your life and times. So for that particular energy, you have a specific god. If you will worship that particular god, you'll get that particular energy, and that particular core or chakra will be enhanced. So ultimately that specific goal could be achieved. So different forms evolved. Okay, hierarchies in this system got developed. Vishnu, Shiva, Durga, they appeared as the supreme deities. Okay, and the monastic organizations also of Jainas, Shaivits, Vaishnavits, they also came up and they were divided into about 5 ranks. Highest was Acharya. And from the 700 AD, Bhakti cult spread throughout the country, especially in the south. So Bhakti meant the people made all kinds of offering to the god, in return for which they received the prasad or the favor of God. Even today it is said that you should never say no to the prasad. You must take it. The offering is very, very important. It's like a blessing of the god. So these kind of new developments happened after the bhakti movement. And then I told you that tantricism also became important. Like, have you seen those ads of kala jadoo, vashikaran, Bengali baba, okay, like grey kalish, 100 rupees, to win the heart of someone, 200 rupees, okay, to get divorced, 1000 rupees, they charge accordingly. So that started from here only. Basically, the most remarkable development in the religious field in India from about 6th century AD. We see different texts, shrines and practices. So it admitted both women and shudras and its in its ranks, and laid great stress on the use of magic rituals, or you can say charms and spells. So Brahmins adopted many tribal rituals of charms now, because they thought that it's very quick and easy to impress the god in this way. So it permeated Jainism, Buddhism, Shaivism, Vaishnavism, which continued throughout the medieval age. And during 6th to 7th century, we see the witness of the development of polity, society, economy, language, the script, religion, everything in a new way, which shows the end of ancient India and the beginning of medieval India. Okay, I hope now you understood the base, the transition. I hope I'm not getting very detailed with you guys. I know this is not in NCERT, but I took it from R.S. Sharma. Okay, so R.S. Sharma now is a very standard book, but I found this lecture, this part of the content very, very important and interesting, very, unique. And I found that we have no lecture or video related to this particular part. So I wanted to ensure that we will include it in our class. So that's why I have covered this chapter from R.S. Sharma. You can see this one. I think this is your chapter number 15 or 16. You can check it in your R.S. Sharma book also. Okay, basically what my intention is that you already have a lot of lectures of ancient medieval India, right? NCERT lectures and so many series are there, but those old series have nothing new or updated according to the exam. Okay, so as we are doing a new one, so let's update it accordingly. Okay, let's have something new which will have some more excitement and energy in class. Otherwise there is no value of live class, right? So next important lecture which we are doing right now, the part of the lecture is South Indian Kingdoms. Basically, I told you that we have a separate lecture for South Indian Kingdom, but I found that it's very hard to complete it in one lecture because so many rulers are there. So for half an hour, like today, for half an hour, I'll discuss few of the rulers with you, and tomorrow, rest of the rulers will be covered. Okay. I hope it's fine. Are you guys ready? I have discussed few of the points with you. It's not very new for you. You will be able to relate it very quickly now. So South Indian kingdoms we are starting. First of all, we will discuss the origin of Pallavas. Can you tell me Pallavas? Pallavas were replaced by which dynasty? I'll have some water. Meanwhile, you tell me. I have discussed Pallavas with you briefly, but today I'll discuss it in detail so that you have some running notes with you. Pallavas, they were replaced by which dynasty? Yes, they were replaced by Cholas, imperial Cholas. Okay, as I told you that we have two Cholas. So first we had ancient Cholas, then we discussed about imperial Cholas. Today we will discuss all of them in detailed way. Okay, and then we will never come back to South India. Then only North India will be there. Means in medieval history, we will only discuss North India. South Indian rulers we will finish in one class. Okay. Now let's understand the origin, their achievements, especially Narasimhavarman, if you remember, who killed Pulkeshin. So that's why he is very, very important for us. And we will discuss the administration of Pallavas also, and education, literature, the art and cultural development of Pallavas. So look at the territory of Pallavas. This is the Pallava territory. They started expanding more later. They had fight with Chalukyas also. Some important rivers I want you to see. This is Tungbhadra river. This is Krishna river. This is Kaveri river. Okay. This is Kanchi. Kanchi was the capital of Pallava. So you can see this map. Even if you want in your notebook, you can make rough maps just for your understanding. Don't make rough maps in the exam. So in your mains answer, sometimes what students do, they make rough maps like this. So don't do this. But for your understanding in your notebook, if you want, you can make these rough maps and you can show that, okay, Pallavas were here. Okay, so like this you can do the markings. So first of all, we need to understand the background because we need to discuss the origin of Pallavas, right? So we have to understand that it started in a very long phase. We discussed about Sangam age, right? So when the decline of Sangam age happened in Tamil country, we saw rise of a new power, which was a Kalabhra rule. Okay, so Kalabhras started ruling and they ruled for around 250 years. I hope I have discussed the points which I'll not repeat again, then that's fine for you. Okay, tell me if you don't remember or if you have missed anything. I have discussed the decline of Sangam age. Yes, we have already discussed the Kalabhra rule, right? And then after the end of Kalabhras in 250 years when they got ended, and it was ended with the combination of all the South Indian rulers coming together, then the establishment of Pallava kingdom happened. Okay, which happened in Tondai Mandalam. Okay, so just write this part. Make a new heading from a new page. Write Pallavas as your heading, the Pallavas, and there the first point is after the Kalabhra rule for about 250 years, comma, establishment of Pallava kingdom happened in Tondai Mandalam. This is very important. Spelling, look at the spelling, Tondai Mandalam. Okay, the capital was Kanchipuram. Okay, full stop. Next point. It was replaced by Imperial Chola around 9th century AD. So it's written here that in the beginning of 10th century AD. So you can say 9th century AD or the beginning of 10th century AD, same. So just for understanding, it's better to write 9th century AD, safe. Okay. Instead of writing in the beginning of 10th century AD, let's simply write 9th century AD. Cholas replaced Pallavas in 9th century AD. Okay. Now let's discuss the origin of Pallavas. Basically, there are different views. Okay, and we don't have many evidences, so no views is supported adequately, but they were equated with the Parthians. I hope you remember Parthians, the foreigners who ruled the Western India. So Parthians, sometimes it is said that Pallavas were from the Parthians. The origin comes from the Parthians. But there is second view which says that no, Pallavas were a branch of Brahman royal dynasty of Vakataks of the Deccan. We have already covered Vakataks. I hope you remember. Vakataks we have discussed, no? So Vakataks were Brahmans. So it is said that Pallavas were a branch of Brahman royal dynasty. Okay, and Pallavas, it is a theory that Pallavas with the descendants of Chola prince and Naga princess whose native was the island of Mani Pallavam. So it is said that they came from a mixture of Chola and Naga, and from this relation of Cholas and Nagas we saw the rise of Pallavas. Okay, so all these views are there. So which one is true? There is one widely accepted view which says that Pallavas were the natives of Tondai Mandalam. They already used to live there. They are also identical with the Pulindas. Pulindas were mentioned in the Ashoka's inscription also. So they were already there. They were the feudatories of Satvahans who ruled in the South India, who started the development of Amravati School of Art, if you remember. And after the fall of Satvahans in the 3rd century AD, they became independent. And then Pallavas started ruling. Why? Because of their Satvahans connection, they learnt the art of administration. So their administration and the way they ruled was very similar to Satvahans. They issued their earlier inscriptions in Prakrit as Satvahans used to do, and Sanskrit as Satvahans used to do. They also patronized Brahmanism. Okay, please write this point. Widely accepted theory is, I'll give you a short line for these 3 points. Okay, please write. Widely accepted theory is that Pallavas were feudatories of Satvahans, Feudatories, feudatories of Satvahans as it is written here. If you don't know the spelling, look at the slide. They were the feudatories of Satvahans, and after the decline of Satvahans in 3rd century AD, underline 3rd century AD, comma, they became independent. They became independent, comma, they also issued their inscriptions in Prakrit and Sanskrit language as Satvahans used to do. As Satvahans used to do. Clear? So this was about the origin of Pallavas. Now you know that there are many theories, but the widely accepted theory comes from the Satvahans, right? So basically, if you look at this particular map, this is the empire of Harsha, this is the empire of Pallavas, and this is Kanchipuram here. Okay, let me mark it from red color for you. Kanchipuram. Okay, so this is very, very important. Now here, if we talk about the political history of Pallavas, the early Pallava rulers, the early line, okay, first generation, from 250 AD to 350 AD. They ruled for a very long period of time, and they issued their charters in Prakrit. At that time, Prakrit was the language of common people. Okay, Prakrit was the language of common people, and important among them were the Siva Skandavarman and Vijay Skandavarman. So these two rulers were only important. They established. Then the second line of Pallava rulers came, which ruled from 350 AD to 550 AD. Now they issued their charters in Sanskrit. And their important ruler was Vishnugop, who was defeated by Samudragupta during his South Indian expeditions. Do you remember Samudragupta had 3 military expeditions? Okay, tell me, how many expeditions of Samudragupta happened in South India? How many military expeditions of Samudragupta were there in South India or against the South Indian rulers, where he defeated many South Indian rulers, but then he restored their throne and asked for the tributes only and wanted them to accept the suzerainty also. Ajay Babu asked a question that which language is older, Sanskrit or Prakrit? Very easy, but again, if you have asked, I'll tell you, Sanskrit is the older language. Okay, from Sanskrit only Prakrit came, and from Prakrit we got the development of Pali, Magadhi, Ardh Magadhi, then Hindi, Punjabi, Uriya, all these languages came. So Sanskrit is the older language, of course. It is the mother of all the languages. Very important. कहते हैं ना संस्कृत माँ है. So remember it like that. Arvind Matthew is saying 12 expeditions. Are you sure? He only did 3 expeditions, I told you. Total 3 expeditions he had. So how is it possible that he held 212 in South India? The right answer is one expedition. Out of his 3 expeditions, the military expeditions which Samudragupta had, out of his 3 expeditions, 2 were in North India, 2 times it was in North India. Only for 1 time he came in South India. And when he came in South India, no, there he defeated around 12 rulers. Fine, Arvind. So 12 expeditions were not there. Battles were there in which he defeated many rulers. So one ruler of this Pallava dynasty also was defeated by Samudragupta. Can you connect the dot? This is known as interconnecting the points. We have discussed Samudragupta Gupta Empire and we discussed that he had military expeditions. So there, when he had the South Indian expedition, he defeated a ruler, Vishnugop. Vishnugop was defeated by Samudragupta. If you want, you can write that Vishnugop was defeated by Samudragupta. Okay. Then the third line of rulers came. They are now very important. So they ruled from 575 AD to 9th century, and then ultimately after 9th century, you know that Pallava Empire ended. So ultimately they were the last most important ruler. They issued their charter both in Sanskrit and Tamil. So you see that now Tamil also came. Okay. So they issued charter in both Sanskrit and Tamil. So Simha Vishnu was the first ruler of this line. Very, very important. He destroyed the Kalabhras. If you remember, Kalabhras, who ruled for around 250 years, they were defeated, and then Pallavas started ruling back again. So Kalabhras got destroyed because of Simha Vishnu, and then he firmly established the Pallava rule in Tondai Mandalam. He also defeated Cholas, ancient Cholas, not the imperial Cholas, ancient Cholas. Okay, ancient Cholas, and extended the Pallava territory up to the river Kaveri. Okay, and the great Pallava ruler of this line was Mahendravarman I, Narasimhavarman I, and Narasimhavarman II. Okay, now these 3 rulers, they started a new development in architecture. Can you tell me what they started? I have already discussed this with you. You will give me the answer very nicely, and I just want to see that who will give me the right answer first. पहले कौन बताएगा? They started temple architecture. Okay, stone temple architecture in South India. So we will start from the first ruler who started temple architecture. Okay, पहला ruler जिसने मंदिर बनाया. First ruler who started temples. So first ruler is Mahendravarman I. Okay, Mahendravarman I ruled from 600 to 630 AD. So total 30 years he ruled. Okay. So in his period, we saw the conflict, the fights between Pallavas and Chalukyas. I told you that both these kingdoms, they used to fight. This is Chalukya dynasty, this is Pallava empire. Okay, this is Vatapi here, you can see. So Chalukyas, they were known as the Chalukyas of Badami or Chalukyas of Vatapi. They had territorial disputes, they had boundary disputes with the Pallavas, of course. So Pulakeshin II was the Chalukyan ruler. He marched against the Pallavas. He captured the northern part of the Pallava kingdom. And this I have already discussed with you, if you remember, that the northern part, this particular part of Vengi, this is Vengi here, Vengi area was captured by Pulakeshin II. He entered till the part of Kanchi, but somehow Kanchi was recovered by Mahendravarman. He gave the northern territory, पूरा आधा north hissa de diya, northern Pallava territory. This is northern Pallava territory and this will be the southern Pallava territory. So he gave up this area. So Pulkeshin II was very happy that he got such a huge area now. Okay, so a Pallava inscription refers to the victory of Mahendravarman I at the Pullalur. But this is not the victory basically, it was a kind of a recovery, you can say. So in Pullalur, somehow Mahendravarman was able to restore his area of Vengi, because it was very important for them. But not Vengi but Kachi. He restored Kachi somehow, but he was not able to recover his northern territory. He was not able to take away the lost territory. So of course he lost the northern territory, which was taken by Pulkeshin II, okay, the Chalukyan ruler. Fine. So somehow Mahendravarman, he recovered, he tried to win in Pullalur, but he lost a very big part of Pallava kingdom. I hope you remember this. I have already taught you this point. Now tell me, who will take the revenge? Who will take the revenge from Pulkeshin II? Who will kill Pulkeshin II and recover this northern part of Pallava territory again? Will bring back this northern territory again? Tell me. Narasimhavarman. Okay. So basically Mahendravarman, initially he was a follower of Jainism in early part of his career. Later he got converted in Shaivism by the influence of a Shaiva saint. Important for your prelims, they may ask you that who was the Shaiva saint who converted Mahendravarman. So his name was Thirunavukkarasar. Thirunavukkarasar. Thirunavukkarasar was the saint. ये पंडित थे Thirunavukkarasar, also known as Appar, who converted Mahendravarman from from Jainist to Shaivit, and he then started making Shiva temple. So Mahendravarman built a Shiva temple at Tiruvadi. Tiruvadi is a name of a place. He assumed many titles because he was very creative, like Samudragupta. So he took title like Gunabhara, Satyasandha, Chetakari, builder of temples, Chitrakarpuli, means painter, Vichitrachit, creative, and Matta Vilasa. These were the title. These titles show that Mahendravarman was very, very creative. He was the builder of temples. He also liked it, he also liked to paint. He also was very creative. So he used to like all these things. He was a great person, fond of arts, and that's why he took all these artistic titles. And you see, these are very new titles. Otherwise, we always used to hear Maharaj Dhiraj, Param Bhattaraka, right? Those Chakravartin. So now we have new title, Chitrakarpuli, Vichitrachit. So these new titles came. Okay, Mahendravarman. Mahendravarman was a great builder of cave temples. His rock cut temples are found in number of places like Vallam, Pallavaram, Mandagapattu, and Tiruchirappalli. In all these areas, his temples are there. And the Mandagapattu inscription hails him as a Vichitrachitta, shows that he is so creative and makes so many temples of Vishnu, who constructed the temple of for Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, without the use of bricks, timber, metal and mortar. Nothing was used. It was a rock cut temple. Okay, so you can see this Mahendravadi Vishnu temple. This is Mahendravadi. I'll write it here for you. Mahendravadi, it is a Vishnu temple. Okay, you can see that no bricks, no mortar, no timber, no metal, nothing is used. He also authored the Sanskrit work known as Matta Vilasa Paraha Hasanam. This is again very important for prelims. Please write this and write the spelling very nicely. He had also authored the Sanskrit work known as Matta Vilasa Paraha Hasanam. Okay, write this one. Important for prelims. Okay, fine. Now next part is paintings. So when we talk about paintings, he was titled Chitrakar Puli. He was a painter. He is also regarded as an expert in music like Samudragupta. The music inscriptions at Kudumain Malai, Kudumiyan Malai inscription, they tell us about his painting skills. So it is ascribed to him that there it is said that how creative he was. So you can remember this name of the place also, Kudumain Malai. Kudumain Malai. Kudumian Malai. Kudumian Malai. Okay. Now next one is Narasimhavarman. So after Mahendravarman, we saw Narasimhavarman. Okay. Narasimhavarman. So from 630 to 668 AD he ruled, around 38 years. So he took the revenge now. He is also known as Mammal, means great wrestler. He was a great fighter. Okay, so he got victorious over Pulkeshin II in the battle of Mani Mangalam, which is near Kanchi, and here it is mentioned in the Kuram copper plates inscription that he took the revenge and defeated Pulkeshin II. The Pallava army under General Paranjyothi entered Chalukya territory and they captured and destroyed the capital of Vatapi. Then Narasimhavarman took the title Vatapi Konda. Means what? Tell me, what is the meaning of Vatapi Konda? Vatapi Konda. He took the title after destroying Vatapi. Vatapi Konda means? Am I speaking slowly? I hope the voice is clear. Yes, Vatapi Konda means destroyer of Vatapi. Okay, so he took the title and he regained the lost territory. He took the northern territory back to his area. His naval expeditions to Sri Lanka are very important. He restored the throne of his friend and Sri Lankan prince known as Manavarma. So you can see that so many Indian rulers used to help their Sri Lankan kings. It's like a tradition which Indians are following since a very long time. Can you tell me one more ruler who did the same thing during the Sangam age? Cheran Sengutuvan, the ruler of Chera dynasty, who again in the Sangam age helped the Sri Lankan king to restore his throne. I hope you remember that. And similar things, you know, in the modern times, it was taken by Rajiv Gandhi when he thought to send the force to Sri Lanka to start some peacekeeping in that area, but it turned out to be very horrifying for us, due to which the attack on his life happened. So we can say that sometimes we learn from history and we try to repeat it, right? So during his reign, Hyun Sang visited the Pallava capital, Kanchipuram. Hyun Sang, who came during the time of Harshvardhan, basically, he was traveling all over in India. So Narasimhavarman I was the founder of Mammalapuram, and the monolithic rathas were erected during his reign. So in the temple architecture, he started the new tradition in which added the rathas, the sections in the temple, Pancharath temple, Saptarath temple, like this. This is the Pancharath complex which was built under Narasimhavarman. This is Mammalapuram temple, okay, which was established by Narasimhavarman I. Okay. Saurabh is saying that, ma'am, didn't they get bored after ruling for so long time? See, we don't have any connection to talk to them right now. However, if you know anyone who can talk to the ghosts and spirits, they can tell you after asking this question to them that were you guys bored after being king for so long time? Or you can ask Modi ji also, he is also ruling since so long time in India right now. Basically, power can never bore you, okay? And you can, once you taste power, you will always love it, okay? It is always said that we have upper section of society, middle class, then lower class. Lower class, they only think about money, their basic needs, survival, eating, sleeping. So if they have good to eat, good to sleep, if their basic needs are fulfilled, they will be very happy. Okay. Middle class, they run before respect. They want respect. Izzat chahiye, full izzat. So middle class, they only talk about respect and respect every time. Uh, Even they can, lose money to get more respect in society. So for them, money and survival is not that important because they can make that much of thing for them. But respect is more important for the middle class, and for the upper class, power and prestige is more important. They only live for power. They only live to hold the power. Okay, so this is a difference. It happens according to the classes. Now next ruler is Narasimhavarman II, who is also known as Rajsimha, who ruled for 695 to 722 AD. He is the last ruler, okay, of Pallava. Okay, this is the last ruler. After this, we will end this topic and I will give you a few topics of dictation. Okay, then we will keep it very short today. Fine. Okay. So Narasimhavarman was succeeded by Mahendravarman II and Parmeshwaravarman I, and Pallava Chalukya conflict continued during this time also. Okay, so Mahendravarman II or Parmeshwaravarman I, became came the next ruler. So after Rajsimha, now Rajsimha is also known as Narasimhavarman II. Okay, just remember this. And then we will see Mahendravarman II will come. Then Parmeshwaravarman will come. So basically Rajsimha or Narasimhavarman II, we can call him Rajsimha to avoid the confusion. He is more interested in developing the art and architecture. The Shore temple of Mamallapuram was made by him, and the Kailashnath temple of Kanchipuram was also built in this period. The famous Sanskrit scholar Dandin is said to have adorned his court, which is very important. Please remember and write it down in your notes. Then Rajsimha also assumed title like Sankar Bhakta, Vidya Vidyadhar, Agam Priya, means priya of God, dear of God. Shiva Bhakt, he was a great Shiva devotee. So he took title like Shankar Bhakt, Vidya Vidyadhar, Agam Priya. These titles, they show that he was a great follower of Shaivism. Then after him Parmeshwaravarman II came, and then Parmeshwaravarman II, and then Nandivarman II came. The Pallava rule lasted till the end of 9th century AD. Then Chola king Aditya I came, who defeated the last Pallava ruler Aparajita and then seized the Kanchi region and then started the imperial Chola dynasty. Clear? You can write this last line. Aparajit means one who can never be defeated in Hindi, but Aparajit ko bhi hara diya. Aparajit was defeated by Aditya I. Please write this line. I have completed Pallava dynasty today. So Chola king Aditya I defeated the last Pallava ruler Aparajit and seized the Kanchi region. Okay. So I hope that Pallava dynasty of South India is completely clear to you, because I have discussed it in brief in last classes, and today details are covered. So nothing else is remaining. Matlab, more than NCERT I have given you, so that you don't feel as if you have missed anything. This is the Shore temple at Mamallapuram by Rajsimha. This is Kailashnath temple of Kanchipuram. You can see this. Okay. Clear? Now, let's talk about the administration of Pallavas. You need to write few points now. Sri Lakshmi, you are saying that back then no social media, so not boring. What are you saying? So you mean to say that because of social media it was boring? Or you are saying that due to no social media it was more interesting, the society was more interesting at that time? You guys look at these temples. Let me have some water. Till then you just see these temples. Can you see some important features of these temples? Can you explain me? What uniqueness do you see here in the image? Tell me in the comments. Power was not boring. He would have scrolled and wasted time. Okay, yes, that's right. Actually, life was very interesting and entertaining at that time. Even if you compare the childhood of your times with the childhood of today's kids, you will find that your childhood was more interesting. You had more things to do, and the society was more acceptable and understanding. Things are changed now, right? So, let's now come back to the topic. We have covered this. Now, we will discuss the administration of Pallavas. So, basically, Pallavas had a good decentralized system. Only Chalukyas had a strict centralization in their kingdom, but Pallavas were good. So, please write few points here. This is a very important point. Second point you should write that the Pallava state was divided into Gotams and was administered by officers appointed by king. Okay. So basically, king is like the fountain of justice. He is the main center of the administration. He maintained a very well trained army, and he also gave land grants to the temple, which is known as Devdhan. Please look at the spelling and write it down. Devdhan. And to Brahmans, it was known as Brahmadev. Write this point. He provided land grants to the temples known as Devdhan, and also to the Brahmans known as Brahmadev. Okay. Then, of course, he also used to take care of irrigation and irrigational facilities. So, a number of irrigational tanks were dug by Pallava kings. Irrigational tanks at Mahendravarman and Mamandur were dug during the reign of Mahendravarman I. Sabhas were village assemblies, and their committees maintained records of all the village lands, and they looked after the local affairs, and they managed temples also. So there were good sabhas, there were assemblies, political control and governance was good. It was a well administered area. If we talk about society, caste system was rigid. Brahmins were at the top, and Brahmins also got the land grants by the kings and nobles. They were also given the responsibility to look after the temples. Pallava period is also witnessed with the rise of Shaivism and Vaishnavism. The Shiva Nayanar and the Vaishnav Alvar, they contributed to it Bhakti movement, and also the decline of Buddhism, Jainism was seen at this point of time. They composed their hymns in Tamil language, and the construction of temples by the Pallava kings, it paved the way for the spread of these two religions, which is Shaivism and Vaishnavism basically. So these Tamil languages, Tamil hymns, local regional languages, it got a new phase of development. Okay, and with these new temples, new art and cultural details, somehow it influenced society in a new way, we can say. If we talk about the education and literature, the capital Kachi, I have already discussed with you that it had a center of learning known as Ghatika. I told you this Ghatika at Kanchipuram. So we had many important rulers of this particular time, and so many scholars also. They took help from this university. So basically, Mayur Sarman, he is the founder of Kadamba dynasty. He studied Vedas at Kanchipuram only. Kadamba dynasty, I hope you remember, I discussed this with you, a small dynasty. So Mayur Sarman, you can write the name. Mayur Sarman, comma, the founder of Kadamba dynasty, studied at Kanchi, and Dina Ganga, a Buddhist writer, also came to study at Kanchi. Dharmapal, I told you about Dharmapal when we were discussing Nalanda University. See, here again a point is connected. So Dharmapal, who later became the head of Nalanda University, he also belonged to Kanchi. And then Bhairavi, the great Sanskrit scholar, also lived lived during the time of Simha Vishnu. Dandin, another Sanskrit writer, adorned the court of Narasimhavarman II. Mahendravarman I composed a Sanskrit play known as Matta Vilasa Parahasanam. You can write this name. They may ask you in prelims that who wrote Matta Vilasa Parahasanam. So remember the name, that ruler Mahendravarman I, who started temple architecture in South India, wrote this. Okay, then Tamil literature had also developed. The Nayanars and the Alvars also composed religious hymns in Tamil, and the Devaram composed by Nayanars and the Nalayar Divya Prabandhanam is composed by Alvars. It is kind of a literature which became very famous, and it also became very, very important for the priests at that time. So please write this point. The Devaram, Devaram, composed by Nayanars, and Nalai Vyapardhanam, write the spelling, Nalyra, Nalayara, Divya, Divya, Prabandham, Prabandhan, composed by Alvars. Nalay Divya Prabandham, composed by Alvars. Okay, then Peru Devanar translated the Mahabharat and Bharat Venba in Tamil, which was patronized by Nandhivarman II. So the Mahabharat translation as Bharat Venba happened. So they may ask you in prelims that what do you mean by Bharat Venba? So Bharat Venba is Mahabharat in the Tamil translation, which was patronized by Nandhivarman II. Who translated it? Who translated? Yes, Peru Devanar. Peru Devanar is the writer. Okay. Then we have Nandi Kalambagam. Nandi Kalambagam was another important work. We don't have author, but music and dance also got developed in this period. So we saw a good art and cultural development during Pallavas, and ultimately, this development of Pallava art and culture gave rise to Dravidian style of architecture. So Dravidian style of temple architecture comes from Pallava art only. Okay, so this we will discuss tomorrow. Okay, the Pallava art and architecture. Today I just want to give you few topics which we have covered yesterday. So just write few points. There is one question which is by Herschel, that were these temples administered by kings or trust? These temples were administered by the priests or the Brahmins who were the beneficiaries of the grants. So they only maintained it and governed it. Okay. Next question is by Tularam. Is polity class also continuing in this channel? Yes, yes, we will continue all the classes. Don't worry. Saurabh, to remember these difficult names, you can break them in 2-3 parts. If there is a very long name, what you can do is you can break it in 2 words. Like if you know Sandhi Vichhed, if you have done it in your school days in Hindi classes, like Narasimhavarman is a long name. It's a long word. So how you can divide it? Nar means man, Simha or Singha means sher, Varman, okay, which was the surname which was commonly used by all Pallava. So Nar Singha Varman, okay, Mahendravarman, Raj Simha Varman. Like this, if you will break the names, no, you will find that there are few common words, common roots. In the end of all the words, they are getting repeated. Okay, so that you will learn with time, and those initial starting words, the changed part only you need to remember. So by dividing the words in 2-3 parts, you can make it meaningful and you can remember it. And of course revision is the only key. Okay, revision is important, and of course some of for North Indian students it's sometimes very hectic to understand and remember these South Indian names, but with time and practice you will remember, and it is very interesting also. It will make your Hindi very strong. You will learn some new words of Hindi, Sanskrit and Tamil by reading it. Now please write a new subheading. Transition phase. Underline it. Transition phase. First point. It was during this period that a transition from ancient to medieval India took place. It was during this period that a transition from ancient to medieval India took place. This period is commonly known as early medieval period. This period is commonly known as early medieval period. Which is sandwiched between ancient and medieval period of India. Which is sandwiched between ancient and medieval period of India. Full stop. It is a period when Indian history in North. It is a period when Indian history in North phase underwent the most frequent changes. When Indian history in North phase underwent the most frequent changes and evolved a way of living, evolved a way of living that continued to survive in one form or other till the dawn of modern era. DAWN, dawn. Next point. This period also evidenced the military and political rise in India. For example, Gurjar Pratiharas, comma, the Pallas, the Pallas, PALAS, comma, the Rashtrakutas, and the rise of Rajputs, and the rise of Rajputs in North and Western India, comma, witnessing emerging power of the Cholas, of the imperial Cholas, witnessing emerging power of the imperial Cholas in the south, in the south. We'll stop. Okay, so we have discussed few topics. Are you ready for a surprise test? You just need to give me answer in the comments, A, B, C or D. Okay, I'll tell you the question, you need to give me the answer. Just listen to the question carefully. Tell me, Bhimbetka is famous for what? Bhimbetka is famous for what? A, rock painting, B, Buddhist statues, C, minerals, D, origin of Son river. It's a easy question. I hope you can tell me. I have taught you entire ancient history and I expect that you'll give me a right answer. The answer is A, rock cut paintings or rock paintings. Okay, Bhimbetka is famous for rock paintings. Well done. Now come to the question number 2. Are you guys ready for second question? Arvind, Sri Lakshmi, Harshal, Tularam, all of you, Ajay Babu gave right answer. Very good. Well done, guys. Now come to the second question. Which of the following sites has yielded evidences of double burials? दो लोगों को साथ में दफनाने वाला. So which of the following sites have yielded evidences of double burial? A, Kuntasi, B, Dholavira, C, Lothal, D, Kalibangan. I'll repeat the question. Which of the following sites had yielded evidences of double burial? A, Kuntasi, B, Dholavira, C, Lothal, D, Kalibangan. The right answer is C, Lothal. Okay, so Lothal is the right answer. Atul Vadhwa gave the right answer for the very first time. Well done, Atul. Keep it up. Now come to the third question. Quickly, listen to me. Third question. Which river is the most mentioned in ऋग्वेदा? ऋग्वेदा में कौन सी नदी का नाम सबसे ज्यादा बार लिया गया है? Which river is most mentioned in ऋग्वेदा? A. Sindhu, B. Sutudri, C. Saraswati, D. Ganga. Which river is most mentioned in Rigveda? A. Sindhu, B. Shatudri, C. Saraswati, D. Ganga. The right answer is nobody gave the right answer this time. A is the right answer. Sindhu. Sindhu is the river which is most mentioned in Rigveda. Okay. Okay. Yes, nobody will give me the answers before giving me option, but it's good that at least we can appreciate that he knows the answer without even knowing the option he can tell. Okay, but no problem. Now next one is the difficult. Tell me, Satyamev Jayate, which is engraved on the Indian emblem, has been taken from which of these? A. Rigveda, B. Bhagavad Gita, C. मुंडक उपनिषद और मुंडका उपनिषद और डी मत्स्य पुराण. Satyamev Jayate is engraved on the Indian emblem has taken from which of these? Rigveda, Bhagavad Gita, Mundak Upanishad or Matsya Puran? It's easy, right? It came also in the exam. Mundak Upanishad is the right answer. Okay? Fine. Yes, Sindhu is the right answer for that. Saraswati is wrong answer. Sindhu is the right answer for Rigveda river. Okay, you gave Saraswati, Harshal, then you are wrong. Sindhu is the right answer. Okay. Now fifth question. Gayatri mantra is found in which book? Let's see who will tell me the right answer. Gayatri mantra, Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha, Gayatri mantra is found in which book? A. Upanishad, B. Bhagavad Gita, C. Rigveda, D. Yajurveda. Gayatri mantra is found in A. Upanishad, B. Bhagavad Gita, C. Rigveda, D. Yajurveda. The right answer is still I can see that you guys are very slow. C is the right answer. Rigveda. Gayatri mantra is found in the Rigveda. Okay, question number 6. Which of the events of Buddha's life is known as Mahabhinskarmana? Which of the events of the Buddha's life is known as Mahabhiniskarmana? महाभिनिष्कर्माना किसको कहते हैं? महाभिनिष्कर्माना is an event from Buddha's life. Okay, tell me which of the events? A. His death, B. His birth, C. His departure from the home, D. His attainment of enlightenment. Mahabhiniskarmana. Option A, his death. Option B, his birth. Option C, his departure from home. Option D, his attainment of enlightenment. C is the right answer. This time Harshal gave the right answer. Shiva doll, try more. You need to try more. Yes, it is his departure. The great departure is known as Mahabhinishkarmana. Okay, his death is known as Mahaparinirvan. Okay, so don't get confused it with his death. Next question. At which place did Mahatma Buddha gave his first sermon? I hope I don't need to give you options for this one. Okay, still I'll give you. लुम्बिनी, सारनाथ, पाटलिपुत्र और वैशाली सबसे पहला sermon कहाँ दिया था? The first sermon was in, it's easy, right? Sarnath. Okay, clear. Now tell me the eighth question. This is very important. The fourth Buddhist council, which was held during the reign of which king? Okay, we had four Buddhist council, no? So tell me the fourth Buddhist council, which was held during the reign of which king? Option A, Ashoka. Option B, Kal Ashoka. Option C, Kanishka. Option D, Ajat Shatru. The right answer is Helish. You are saying Lumbini, which is wrong. Okay, this is very basic question. You can't tell me wrong answer for this one. Okay, Kanishka is the right answer. Yes, Kanishka is the right answer. C, Kanishka. Okay, in the Mahayana Buddhism, the Bodhisattva Avalokiteshwar was also known as what? I'll repeat the question. Listen. In the Mahayana Buddhism, the Bodhisattva Avalokiteshwar, Avalokiteshwar was also known as what? A. Vajrapani, B. Manjushri, C. Padmapani, D. Maitreya. I'll repeat the question. In the Mahayana Buddhism, the Bodhisattva Avalokiteshwar. Okay, Avalokiteshwar means one who is the Ishwar of Avalok, who is not from this loka, not from this earth. Okay, Avalokiteshwar was also known as what? Vajrapani, Manjushri, Padmapani or Maitreya? The right answer is C, Padmapani. Okay, C, Padmapani. Arvind Matthew gave the right answer. That's great. Okay, now 10th question. Okay, do you want one more? Last one. This is the last for today. Okay, after this we will end the session. 10 MCQs we discussed today. So this is the 10th question. Tell me, Ajivika sect was founded by whom? Ajivika sect was founded by whom? Option A, Ananda. Option B, Rahul Bhadra. Option C, Makhali Gosal. Option D, Upali. Ajivika sect was founded by whom? A, Ananda. B, Rahul Bhadra. C, Makhali Goshal. D, Upali. The right answer is C, Makhali Goshal. You can write the spelling if you want. Makhali Gosala. I'll write it here for you. Okay. So for 10 MCQs, we discussed some of the questions from ancient history. Tell me, out of 10, how much you got? How many answers you gave correct? Honestly, tell me honestly. Okay, I need to see that सबसे ज़्यादा answers किसने दिए. Dr. Ashutosh Sharma, you are right. Makhali is the right answer. Yes, Mohammad Yasin is also right. So many students gave us the right answer. That's great. Those of you who didn't like the video, please like it, guys. Please share the session with other learners. We are starting medieval history, guys. I want some new energy, some new enthusiasm should be there, right? I hope you enjoyed the entire ancient history. How was ancient history for you? Tell me. I hope you enjoyed ancient history, no? If you want any improvements, tell me. I told you that for MCQs, we are trying to have a different series, NCERT through MCQ. That's why I'm not adding the questions right now. But overall, how many of you feel very confident about ancient India now? Like, you feel that, okay, you have a good base of ancient history. Now you can start any standard book. You can understand anything from ancient history after watching my lectures. Tell me, how many of you feel that kind of, that level of confidence? If nobody will give me good comments, I will try to take some tarifs from myself, or you know, like, in this is the indirect way of तारीफ बटोरने का नया style है. So tell me. And if you want me to change anything also, that's also fine. Let me know, because we are starting medieval history. After this medieval India, we will do modern history. For 2 weeks, we will do medieval, and then we will come to modern. So if you want me to add anything, let me know. Yes, I'll check the answers also. Yes, Harshal and other students, don't worry. I'll check the answers. So I'll check the answers on Saturday or Sunday. Why? Because on weekend we'll not have the class. Do you want class on Saturday, or do you want 2 days gap? Because Saturday, Sunday, 2 days are there. So if you want classes on Saturday, you can tell me in the group. Okay. So I'll plan it accordingly. Okay. Yes. You need to revise it. Of course you need to revise. See, in ancient history, as it is completed now, so I can tell you this, it's actually very boring. Okay, why? There is no storyline. Okay, and some random names and some complex places are there, which makes it more boring. But now you have completed the chronology. Okay, I told you and I taught you without telling you this, so you enjoyed it more. But trust me, medieval history is the very interesting part of your history, because here you will see a new level of clash. So many Bollywood movies are made on this part, like Padmavat and Marathas and Peshwa, Bajirao Masthani. So many, movies are there. Manikarnika. I don't remember all the names, but there are so many movies. Why? Because this part is really interesting, and you'll find that there is a storyline. You'll be excited in the class now. Okay, so it's a very good thing that we confidently covered ancient India, but I'm really sure that you'll enjoy medieval history more, where we will see the rise of Rajputs, then rise of Islam, then Sufism will come, then Bhakti movement, and then we will see the, Rajputs will try to survive for a longer time, and then Delhi Sultanate will be there, Mughals will come. So it's a very interesting thing. And the best part is that in medieval history, you'll feel more familiar with the names, because in ancient India, it is too old. So you are not very familiar. Sometimes it is for the very first time when you are listening or reading a word. Okay, so it becomes like a task for you, as if you're studying. You have to study something. But in medieval history, it's like watching a movie. It's not like studying. Okay, so it's not factual at all. You will have a lot of stories, a lot of drama, a lot of masala. So good desi vibes are going to be there. And for from tomorrow we will be doing it. So yes, I think I can end the session now. If you have any doubts, please let me know. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Harshal. Um, Keiko, you are asking that, ma'am, standard book for ancient history. See, you can read two books, R.S. Sharma, and one is Tamil Nadu board history book. That will help you a lot. But for ancient art and culture is more important, so you can refer to Nitin Singhania's art and culture. Thank you so much, Saurabh. Thank you, Sri Lakshmi, Arvind, Harshal, everyone. Ajay, that's a very nice question. You are asking, will you take for all subjects? I'll ask the team, Sunya IAS, to increase my salary now. Okay. Fine. I'll end the session here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. See you then. Take care. Bye bye.